We're live on all platforms. What's going on, everybody? Whether you guys are watching this live on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, IG, drop a hashtag live if you're watching this live. Hashtag replay if you are watching the replay. I want to talk to you guys today about how to guarantee your success, right? How to guarantee your success in 2022. Absolutely going to be crazy, phenomenal. Drop fire. Let me know you guys are watching. You guys are getting value. But here we go. First thing I want to say is you need to know your numbers, right? You got to know your numbers. Business is whatever. We make it look sexy on social media. Like it's just you go out, play, have fun, drive nice cars, hang out in nice houses, whatever. But understand that fundamentally, if you don't know your numbers, you don't have a business. All you do is have a hobby that costs too much, right? If you don't know your numbers, you don't have a business. You just have a hobby that costs way too much, right? So first thing you got to do is know your numbers. What type of numbers? I need you to understand your gross profit, right? Then I need you to understand your net profit. For the purposes of today's training, these are the main things I need you to know. Gross profit, net profit. I'm sorry, TikTok. There we go. You need to know your gross profit and you need to know your net profit. This is huge. I would talk to a lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs that I'll be coaching. They'll be telling me about their business and they'll tell me about this big client that they landed. It's like, yeah, this client is a $30,000 client. Okay, $30,000 client. That sounds good. Tell me more. What are you doing for them? Like, yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, this, and the third, boom, 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 boom. And that's why he pays the $30,000. Now I started sitting here thinking like, okay, well, that sounds like a lot. Like, how much, like, is it going to cost you to actually do that work? Like, how much does the fulfillment cost? And they start running the numbers and they're like, crap, by the time we finish the project, it's going to cost us closer to $40,000. Oh, so you didn't make $30,000. You lost almost $10,000, right? So you have to understand. Let me see. Listen, got text messages coming through. Saying it's coming through. Yep, that's why you don't watch it on TikTok. There we go. So there you go, TikTok. Yeah, TikTok. If you want to see it the correct way, go to YouTube, go to Facebook, go to my Instagram. Right. So you have to know your profit margins because otherwise you're going to be selling stuff and it's going to cost you more in fulfillment, and you're not going to maintain a healthy profit margin. Like we're in the coaching space. I think here everybody should make a minimum of a 50% profit margin, right? Minimum, right? Depending on your model, it should be closer to 80%. 50% is worst case scenario. So you got to understand your profit margins. I also need you to know your cost to acquire a customer, right? You have to know your cost to acquire a customer, which that's going to grow into all your profits and all that type of stuff. So understand this. If you don't know your numbers, right, then you don't have a business. All you do is have a hobby that costs way too much, right? Because once you know your numbers, then everything else starts to get good. Everything else gets good. So drop fire in the chat if y'all ready for me to show you the formula, right? The formula that will guarantee your success. Drop fire if you want to see the formula that will guarantee your success. It's really simple. It's simply the 20, 40, 10 rule. 20, 40, 10. What in the world is that? 20, 40, 10. See, what you're going to do is the first thing is you need to decide how much money do you actually want to make in your business this year, right? How much money do you want to actually make in your business this year? So whatever that number is, you're going to take 20% of that, right? 20%, you're going to spend that in marketing. 40% of that, you're going to spend that on COGS or payroll, cost of goods sold or payroll. 10% of that goes into your personal development. Let me break this down. So starting off, so let's say your goal is $100,000, right? Very low goal. I get it. $100,000. 20% of that is $20,000. That's the only reason we're doing this. So if the goal was to do 100K, then you will spend 20,000 or 20% in marketing. 20% of that's going to go into marketing. See, the 20-40-10 rule is powerful because it is a forcing function, right? Somebody type forcing function. The 20-40-10 rule is a forcing function that forces you to grow your business. So most people don't want to spend money in marketing. There's so many gurus out here, so many people that they're talking about, oh, I do this all organic. I didn't spend $1 in ads. I didn't understand this at the most basic and fundamental level how advertising actually works. Imagine if you had a vending machine, right? So you got this magic vending machine, and you could put $1 in to the machine, and it would spit out $2. So if you put $1 in, it gave you $2. If you put $2 in, it'll give you $4. You put $4 in, it'll give you $8. If you put $10,000 in, it'll give you $20,000. If you put $100,000 in, it'll give you $200,000. Well, if you had a vending machine like that, where it doubled whatever you put in there, how much money would you put in there? Right? As much as you got, right? And you'll take everything that spit out and put it back until you got the desired amount of money that you want. Well, when you fully understand marketing, that's exactly how marketing works at a low level. Really, especially in this coaching space, you're going to get, on the low end, I look for a 4x return, anywhere to, I got friends getting an 11x, right? Which means they put $1 in, get $4 out. They put $1 in, get $11 out. So this is implying a 5x, where we're going to put 20,000 in, we're going to get 100,000 out, right? So the reason you're putting the 20% in, because it becomes a forcing function where it forces you to get really, see, what happens is you're spending a lot of money. 20% of how much you want to make is a lot of money. If you want to make $1 million, you're going to put 200,000 in. That's crazy. But what happens is it forces you to get good at spending money on marketing to generate leads and opportunities, and then turn those opportunities into cash flow. It forces you to get really good at the skill set of conversions. So the 20-40-10 rule, the 20 forces you to get good at this marketing thing and turning marketing spend into money, right? So that's the 20. Next, we have the 40. You're going to take 40% and invest that into cost of goods sold / payroll. So however much it costs you to fulfill, 40% of that, your staff, whatever, all that ends up being 40% of. So you're going to spend $40,000 on your team, essentially, on your teams and actual fulfillment of your products and services. So this forces you to get really good at the skill set of developing teams, managing and leading a team that can actually produce enough results and enough work to get you to your target, right? You see, the 40% is so cool because there's this BS myth that keeps people stuck and broke and busted, and it's this myth of being the solopreneur. Like, if you guys know me, I absolutely despise the thought process of solopreneurship. Why? Because it's just not good for growth, right? See, you can be an employee and then people become a self-employed entrepreneur, solopreneur, And then all of a sudden they think they got the world by the tail, right? But understand this, all you did was you went from having a job to owning a job. Let me dive deeper. You went from having a job to owning a job where you got more risk, more responsibilities, you pay yourself less, and you work more. In what world does that make sense? You see, the problem is all these gurus are telling you to do these things. Don't spend money on marketing. Don't build a team. Do it yourself. You'll have more money. And you get so caught in keeping 100% of your grape that you miss out on having 75% of a watermelon, right? You see, these gurus are just telling you just provide more value, provide more value, provide more value. Understand this, people. Giving more of the value that people already don't want isn't going to make you richer. It's not going to make you more successful. See, if what you have of value is not valued, then what you have is not valuable. I'll say that again. If what you have of value is not valued, then what you have is not valuable. So when they say give more value, give more value, giving more of the value that they already don't want won't make you successful. It'll only make you tired. Because you must understand this. When it comes to value, 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 levels of value. There are 4 levels of value. And you don't, when you give more value, if you want to make more money, you don't do it by working harder. You do it by working higher. You don't do it by working harder. You do it by working higher. So you need to work up higher on higher steps, higher levels of value. So the lowest level of value is what we call implementation. This is when you're the one physically doing the work. This is why solopreneurship can't produce the income that you want. It is the lowest level of value when you're the one doing all the implementation. See, this is the lowest level of value. At this level, you'll make anywhere between minimum wage to maybe $80,000, assuming you're like a mechanic working on Rolls Royces or something like that. Implementation is the lowest level of value. So we have implementation, right? That is the lowest level of value. See, the reason implementation can never produce higher amounts of money is because creating income is a spiritual result. The reason implementation doesn't work is because you're trying to use your body, a physical resource, times time, a limited resource, to try to create an unlimited spiritual result. It does not work that way. So you're not going to create more money by working harder. You're going to do it by working higher. So what's the next level of value? This one is called unification. Unification. This is where this 40% really starts to come in, because now you're developing the skills of leadership and management, and now you're able to delegate. So now, instead of trying to have 100% of one person's effort, now you can have 1% of 100 people's efforts. Guess what? It's even better if you got more than 1%. Imagine having 50% of 100 people's efforts. Are you starting to see how now your ability to create and produce income goes higher? Right? So, at the level of unification, you'll make anywhere from 40,000 to about 250,000, assuming you're like Fortune 500 company working for a Big 5 law firm, or like you're an executive at like Lockheed Martin, something like that, right? But most people aren't going to be quite that high. So now we got unification. This is where your 40%. Your 40% becomes a forcing function that causes you to get good at this level of unification, but you really don't max it out until you get to the next level, communication. Now when we have the ability to effectively communicate with these people, things can skyrocket, right? See, at this level of communication, you're gonna make anywhere from.
What's going on, family? Hey, I hate to interrupt the video. I know you're getting so much value, but I'm just out here for my walk and I'm getting message after message after message of people saying, Jeremy, how do I increase my close rate? How do I double my deals? So I actually put together a free training, absolutely free, of some of my top closing strategies that you can actually watch and implement immediately. Just click the link in the description, go watch it, double your deals. Back to the video.
100,000 a year to millions, right? I'm gonna just put 1 million, but it's millions. So think of somebody, think of people like you got salespeople. A good salesperson who really knows how to give their message, they can make a lot of money. They can make $100,000 selling. They really know how to communicate the value of the products and services that they offer, right? You also have people like, I know there's a bunch of people, salespeople, W-2, that make $400,000 a year. You guys probably seen the video of Grant Cardone going viral, talking to them, saying, how do you live off $400,000 a year, right? Those are regular employee salespeople. You can make a lot of money if you master communication at a job in sales. But then say you're somebody like a singer or an actor, they make millions because of their ability to communicate messages. So as you're investing 40% into your team, so now you got unification in place. So you got other people that can do the implementation, and all you're doing is communicating things from the top. Now your ability to create income skyrockets, right? What's the highest level? Imagination. Low level, you're gonna make 1 million to, I'm gonna say, infinity, because there's people about to be trillionaires. When you have the ability to think and create concepts and then communicate those concepts to a team that can do the implementation work, the sky is the limit, guys. The sky is absolutely the limit. You see, there's a book by Napoleon Hill called Think and Grow Rich. Notice it's not called Work and Grow Rich. It's Think and Grow Rich. Thinking is the hardest work most people never do. In The Strangest Secret, Earl Nightingale said, 2% of people think, 3% of people think they think, 95% of people rather die than think. Thinking is the hardest work most people never do. But if you can learn to become a thinker, be able to communicate those thoughts, and lead a team to implement, guys, you will skyrocket your income. But let's keep moving. Sorry to just chase that rabbit, but had to let you guys understand why that's so important. So now that we understand that, now we can go to the 10%. The 10% is going to go into your personal development. Rest in peace, Charlie Munger. He said, the world is not quite yet a crazy enough place to reward a bunch of undeserving people. The 10% that you invest into yourself allows you to become the person who deserves a return on the 40 and the 20. You see, everybody should just take the time to invest into their personal development, to invest into developing their personality, because your personality creates your personal reality. You see, the way you grow as a person, everything flows from who you are being. In other words, if you don't be, you can't do. If you can't do, you won't have. See, you will never consistently do anything inconsistent with how you see yourself. Okay, Jeremy, rewind that. You will never consistently do anything inconsistent with whom you see yourself as being. All right, plane took off. Ain't nobody get on. Let me say this. You will never behave in a way that is inconsistent, right? That is inconsistent with whom you see yourself as being. Jeremy, what are you saying? You will never behave consistently. Understand this. You'll never behave. In other words, you must be in order to have. The 10% that you invest into your personal development allows you to become the person you need to be to produce the income that you want to produce. Right? Like right now, you guys can see everything I got going. Like if you guys follow me on social, you see everything we're doing. Like I just had a phone call last night. There's this big event in Atlanta in June. All these big influencers, people with millions of followers, right? And guess what? As of last night, I just got booked to speak on that stage, right? I'm going to be the second to last talk of that event. So understand this. It's all come from the 10% that I invest into myself because I'm speaking on these stages. I'm becoming a better communicator. People are bringing me on stage. I am the keynote top speaker at another event later this year. Why? Because of my ability to communicate. Because I saw that was a high level of the values of communication. So I just invested into a coach. It is $30,000 to work with this coach. And all he does is, one, he works with me on my mindset, tell me to become the person. And then we just work on my communication skills. See, I spoke at an event. This is the power of a coach. I spoke at an event and I posted the video. Everybody's dropping fire. Everybody's like, yo, you did phenomenal. You did great job, great job, great job. Like this post went crazy, y'all. And I tagged my coach before he was my coach. I tagged him in the post. And I see him drop fire. I'm like, yeah. And then I see the little notification come up in my DMs. I'm like, oh, he sent me a DM. All his DM said was this. He said, don't worry. You'll find your voice one day. What? I felt that. But you see, that's the power of having a good coach. Because you need somebody that can tell you straight. Like, I don't need a bunch of groupies. I don't need a bunch of fangirls. I need somebody that can help me develop into the person that allows me to get a return on everything else I'm doing in my business. So that's the 20-40-10 rule. This all forces you. This forces you to get good at converting marketing spend. This forces you to get good at leading a team. And this forces you to become the person that deserves the results. So that's your 20-40-10 rule. I got one last thing I want to leave you guys with. Right? So a bunch of studies went into this. Harvard did some studies into this. I think Harvard's pretty credible when it comes to business, right? They did a study and they figured out this thing. We call it the progress triangle. The progress triangle. You see, at the top of the progress triangle, we have this thing called pain of payment. It's called pain of payment. And for all you guys watching and saying, man, he writes too small, I can't read it. Even if I wrote bigger, my handwriting is so sloppy, you still couldn't read it. Just listen to what I'm saying and take the notes, right? It's called pain of payment. You see, what they realized is when you invest a significant amount of money, pain of payment kicks in. You see, we've invested into a book, right? We got all these books. We got books for days. Books that just sit on our bookshelf that we never read. All these books on our bookshelf that we never read. And I'm like, dang, y'all more into shelf help than self-help. Y'all more into shelf help than self. Why do we get all these books and we don't read them? It's because we get books like this. Don't Shrink Your Dream, Enlarge Your Faith. Ooh, that sounds good. That sounds really good. I wanna read this book. And now you get this dopamine kick and you got all these endorphins run to your body and you're excited. You're like, yeah, I'm about to enlarge my faith. I'm gonna accomplish all my dreams. But you paid $5 for the book. You paid $20 from the book. So guess what? If you don't read the book, it ain't cost you nothing. So it's just like, yeah. But understand this, when you invest $30,000 into a coach, oh, I'm excited. $30,000, I know I'm gonna learn something. And then cortisol, another fear mechanism, and fear chemicals rise in your body, and now you feel like your back's against the wall. So now you're like, crap, I actually have to do something that's going to get me a return on this money that I just spent. So now it forces you to want to take action. That's pain and payment. What researchers realized is if you embrace pain and payment, there is an 800% increase 800% increase in the likelihood of you achieving your results by embracing pain and payment. Next, we have what's called the group accountability. I don't know how to put that. Let's just put accountability effect. Group accountability effect. You see, the way group accountability effect works is whenever you have people working with you to be accountable to you, right? That you're accountable with. Just because the mere fact that you said, hey, I'm doing this, and then you have somebody holding you accountable, the chances of you actually doing what you said and achieving your goals goes up 500%. 500%. So there's a 500% increase in the likelihood that you actually achieve your goal. Why is that? You see, they did this research with the Navy SEALs, and they look at all these people that go through SEAL training, right? Even though they take them out to into the waters, of Coronado Island, they drop into the waters are going crazy, and then they have to endure, or they can go up, ring a bell, and they can quit. So they went researching and they looked into the people, and what they realized was they looked at these camps of people. And it's like, oh, this person quit, this person didn't. This person quit, this person didn't. This person quit, this person didn't. When they realized the people that quit, everybody in their group that they trained with quit. They looked at the people who didn't quit and realized that everybody who they trained with didn't quit. And it was like, how come? And they looked at the people who didn't quit and they said, yeah, while we was in training, we decided that, hey, they're going to try to break us. Everything is going to come against us. Catch this, family. When you try to pursue your goals and your dreams, life's going to try to break you. We have a real enemy. He's going to throw everything at you to stop you from achieving your God-given destiny. I just say that word destiny loosely. I just think God has a provision that he's called you for greatness, right? So God expects, he puts so much into you for you to achieve greatness. So the enemy's going to do everything he can in his power to stop you. Just like these Navy SEALs in the water coming against all these obstacles. And what they did was they said, hey, when things get tough, when things feel like, oh man, I'm ready to quit, all I'm going to do is I'm going to look at you. And when I give you that look, that means we got this. We're in this together. We're going to endure. So what they found out is there is power in proximity. In other words, the environment will shift the individual before the individual shifts the environment. So when you have group accountability effect and you have a powerful group, you have created an environment of accountability and achievement, that environment will shift you to hitting your goals, right? So it's a 500% increase in your chances when you embrace group accountability effect. And the last thing is the calendar effect. When you're accountable to a group and you all put this on your calendar, hey, I'm going to read this book, and next week on Friday, we're going to meet and we're going to have a discussion about the book. When you do that, your chances of succeeding increase by another 500%. Just by putting it on your calendar. Because understand this, family, commitment only shows up in two places: in your bank accounts and your calendar. Show me what you spend money on. Show me what you spend time on. And I'll show you exactly what you're committed to. Does that make sense to everybody? So understand, when you embrace all three of those, there is an 800% increase in the likelihood of your achievement. 1,800% increase in the likelihood of you achieving your goals. So take your goal, invest 20% of that into marketing, 40% of that into your payroll and COGS, and 10% of that into your personal development. embrace pain of payment, have a community to keep you accountable, and put all your targets on your calendar for those people to keep you accountable to. And I promise you, family, you will achieve your goals in 2024. So if you guys got value from this, just let me know in the comments. I actually do read my comments on whatever platform, but I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I'll catch you guys in the next video.